Have you ever caught yourself doing something that feels a little strange? You know those little habits that just pop up when you're anxious, sometimes before you even realize you're stressed? Well, today, we're going to dive in and figure out what they really mean.
So picture this. You're just walking across campus, maybe down a busy street, completely lost in thought, and then you suddenly realize you're practically speed walking. You're not late for anything, but your body's just decided it's time to hustle. Why?
Or how about this one? You're sitting in a totally calm meeting, or maybe in a quiet library, and you suddenly notice your leg is bouncing like crazy, or your fingers are drumming out a frantic beat on the table. You feel fine, so what in the world is going on?
Well, here's the secret. These aren't just random quirks or bad habits. They're actually signals. It's like a secret language from a much deeper, older part of your brain. And believe me, it is trying to tell you something really, really important.
You know, most of us think of anxiety as something that's all in our heads, the constant worrying, the overthinking, but the truth is, your body is often way ahead of your conscious mind. It knows you're stressed long before you do. It's got its own secret language, and it's all about one thing: keeping you safe.
So here's the quick play-by-play. First, the subconscious part of your brain, your ancient survival instinct, senses a potential threat. It could be real, it could be imagined, it doesn't care. Then, bam, step 2, it instantly throws your body into protection mode. And then, way later, your conscious mind finally catches up and goes, wait, what's happening? Your body always reacts first.
So what does this look like in real life? Let's start with that sudden urge to pick up the pace. Let's call it the unconscious escape. And the reason for this is actually incredibly simple, almost primal. On a deep level, your brain's go-to solution for pretty much any perceived threat is to just get away from it. This is your classic flight response kicking into gear even when there's nothing logical to run from.
And hey, we are not talking about being chased by a bear here. The triggers are way more subtle. It's that little spike of social stress you feel when you walk into a new classroom or when you have to navigate through a big crowd. Your subconscious just wants to get you through that uncomfortable moment fast.
Okay, so what about all those fidgety behaviors? The foot tapping, the bouncing leg? This one isn't really about escaping a physical place. It's all about managing what's happening inside you.
Think of it like this. Your subconscious senses a threat and floods your system with adrenaline, with energy to get you ready for action. But you're just sitting there, all that energy gets trapped inside. So fidgeting is actually your body's brilliant way of burning off that excess fuel, which gives you this tiny little feeling of being back in control.
Really, at its core, this behavior is just your internal alarm system trying to keep you on your toes. It's the physical proof of a mind that's on high alert, ready for whatever might happen next, even if what's next is just your boss asking you a question.
All right, this next one is so fascinating because it just seems so illogical from the outside. You know the feeling? You find a seat, you get settled, and then just a few minutes later, you feel this powerful, nagging urge to get up and move somewhere else.
What's happening is your subconscious is running this constant, secret background check on your environment. It's scanning for the absolute best position, the one that feels the safest, gives you the most privacy, lowers the chance of social judgment, and is just physically comfortable. It's like having a tiny, paranoid security guard in your head who is constantly reassessing the room.
And here's the really wild part. This system is not rational at all. It's primal. So even when you're in a perfectly safe coffee shop, that little voice in the back of your head can just keep insisting, nope, not safe enough yet. That spot over there looks better. Move again.
And finally, let's talk about the eyes, that nervous, darting around the room glance that happens when you feel just a little bit uneasy. This is your brain's built-in threat scanner activating in real time.
So when does this mode get triggered? Well, it's almost always in these really socially sensitive situations, like when you feel like everyone's watching you or you're with someone you feel a little insecure around. Your brain just starts rapidly scanning everything and everyone to gather more information and watch out for any signs of social danger.
Now, you might have noticed that these behaviors seem to be especially common in a certain age group, and it's not your imagination. There's actually a very clear neurological reason why young adults seem to live in this heightened state of alert.
Okay, so between the ages of 18 and 25, your brain is still in a massive phase of development, especially the parts that deal with social stuff and your identity. And because you're still figuring out who you are and where you belong, your brain becomes extra sensitive to things like judgment and social pressure. And the result? That subconscious alarm system just fires off these protective signals way more often.
We've looked at the why behind all these weird little things we do, the fast walking, the fidgeting, the constant scanning. So what's the big takeaway here?
What does this all mean for you?
First things first, and probably the most important point, if you do any of these things, please know that you are not weird. This is a totally normal biological response that's literally hardwired into our DNA.
And you are definitely not weak. These behaviors are not some kind of character flaw or a sign that you're failing. In fact, it's kind of the opposite.
What this all means is that you have a highly effective, incredibly sophisticated survival system. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Look out for you and keep you safe from harm, whether that harm is physical or social.
And I want to leave you with this final thought, because I think it's just beautiful. Your conscious mind, it might judge you for being anxious. It might criticize you. But your subconscious mind, it never does. It just acts. It reacts first, no questions asked, because its one and only job is to protect you. And in a way, that's probably the deepest form of self-love there is.